At the White House, President Trump signed an executive order to expand access to health care insurance by allowing plans to be sold across state lines. The order directed 3 cabinet agencies to develop rules that would expand access to less expensive, less comprehensive insurance, including policies that could be sold by trade associations to their members.
Good morning. President Trump and his administration are committed to ensuring hardworking Americans have access to affordable health care. Mr. President, your executive order signed today is an important step in achieving that goal. I want to thank you and your administration for continuing to focus on finding affordable health care solutions. In addition to instructions given to the Treasury and Health and Human Services departments, the President will task the Department of Labor with considering ways to deliver quality, affordable health care to the American workforce. I'd now like to call upon Senator Rand Paul to say a few brief words. Thank you.
Thank you, Secretary Acosta. Today's a big day. President Trump is doing what I believe is the biggest free market reform of health care in a generation. This reform, if it works and goes as planned, will allow millions of people to get insurance across state lines at an inexpensive price. 28 million people were left behind by Obamacare, do not have insurance today. This specifically targets and will help people who don't have insurance or people for whom insurance is too expensive. I'm very glad to be part of this, and I really want to commend the President for having the boldness and the leadership and the foresight to get this done. And I'd like to introduce the Vice President of the United States.
Well, good morning. Secretary Acosta, Senator Paul, Secretary Mnuchin, Director Mulvaney, Administrator McMahon. Senator Paul, thank you for those thoughtful remarks, and to Congressman Greg Walden and Congresswoman Virginia Foxx, other distinguished members of Congress, and job creators. It's an honor to share this moment with you today, a moment where President Trump will take a critical step to lower the cost of health insurance for working Americans. Since day one of our administration, President Trump has made it a top priority to rescue the American people from the disastrous failure of Obamacare. Every day Obamacare survives is another day the American people struggle. And all the job creators gathered here today at the White House have witnessed the failures of Obamacare firsthand. Premiums have more than doubled since Obamacare went into effect, and next year premiums are set to increase even more. While costs have been skyrocketing, choices are plummeting. Next year, nearly half of America's counties will have only one choice of health insurance provider, which means they essentially have no choice at all. As the President and I have traveled the country, we've heard stories from small business owners like those gathered here today, from working families who are struggling under the weight of Obamacare. Today, President Trump will take decisive action to provide the American people with flexibility and freedom from the burdens of Obamacare and expand the number of affordable health care options for working Americans. And Mr. President, I can say I speak for everyone here and for millions of Americans when I say how grateful we are for your determination to repeal and replace Obamacare and your commitment, demonstrated today by this action, to provide the American people with more choices for more affordable health care in the 21st century. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, it's my privilege to introduce the President of the United States of America.
Thank you very much to Vice President Pence for that wonderful introduction and for the great job you do. And I want to thank Secretary Acosta, Secretary Mnuchin, Acting Secretary Hargan, and Administrator McMahon for joining us today. We're all gathered together for something I believe that's going to be very, very powerful for our nation and very good for a lot of people. But before I begin, I have an important update. Yesterday, the United States government, working with the government of Pakistan, secured the release of Caitlin Coleman, Joshua Boyle, and their 3 children from captivity from the Haqqani Network, a terrorist organization with ties to the Taliban. The Pakistani government's cooperation is a sign that it is honoring America's wish that it do more to provide security in the region. And I want to thank the Pakistani government. I want to thank Pakistan. They worked very hard on this, and I believe they're starting to respect the United States again. It's very important. I think right now, a lot of countries are starting to respect the United States of America once again. We hope to see this type of cooperation and teamwork in helping secure the release of remaining hostages and in our future joint counterterrorism operations. So with that, I want to begin by saying it's my pleasure to welcome so many great small business and association leaders to the White House as we prepare to make this truly historic announcement. And that's exactly what it is. We've been hearing about the disaster of Obamacare for so long. In my case, many years, most of it outside in civilian life, and for a long period of time since I started running and since I became President of the United States, I just keep hearing repeal, replace, repeal, replace. Well, we're starting that process, and we're starting it in a very positive manner. And I can say when you get Rand Paul on your side, it has to be positive. That I can tell you. Boy. Rand. I was just saying, as he's getting up and saying all these wonderful things about what we're going to be announcing, I said, boy, that's pretty unusual. I'm very impressed. But 7 years ago, congressional Democrats broke the American healthcare system by forcing the Obamacare nightmare onto the American people. It has been a nightmare. You look at what's happening with the premiums and the increases of 100% and 120%, and even in one case, Alaska, over 200%. And now every congressional Democrat has blocked the effort to save Americans from Obamacare, along with a very small, frankly, handful of Republicans. 3. And we're going to take care of that also because I believe we have the votes to do block grants at a little bit later time, and we'll be able to do that. Premiums have gone skyrocketing. But today, 1/3 of all the counties in America have only a single insurer selling coverage on an exchange, and next year it looks like nearly half of all counties in our country. Think of that. All of the counties, 1/2, will have only one insurer, and many will have none. Many will have absolutely created roadblocks for people to have any form of the insurance we're talking about. This is why in a few moments I will sign an executive order taking the first steps to providing millions of Americans with Obamacare relief. It directs the Department of Health and Human Services, the Treasury, and the Department of Labor to take action to increase competition, increase choice, and increase access to lower-priced, high-quality health care options. And they will have so many options. This will cost the United States government virtually nothing, and people will have great, great health care. And when I say people, I mean by the millions and millions. First, we aim to allow more small businesses to form associations to buy affordable and competitive health insurance. This would open up additional options for employers to purchase the health plans their workers want. I'm also directing Secretary Acosta to consider ways to expand these associations and these health care plans all across state lines. This will create tremendous competition and transformative, in so many ways, change aimed at creating more and lower prices for millions of Americans. But the competition will be staggering. Insurance companies will be fighting to get every single person signed up. And you will be hopefully negotiating, and you'll get such low prices for such great care. It should have been done a long time ago, and it could have been done a long time ago. This will allow thousands of small business employers to have the same purchasing power as large employers to get more affordable and generous insurance options for their workers. Rich and Leslie Baudry, where are they? Where are they? How are you? Nice to see you. How are you? Come on, get up here. Come on. How are you? Nice to see you, Leslie. They're here today from Louisiana, great state. Just left. They had a little hurricane damage, they got hit like Charles. But we took good care of it, right?
Absolutely.
We took good care of it. They're great people. They're small business owners, and they know personally the benefits of association health plans, one of which used to provide health insurance for their employees. But after Obamacare, they were unable to afford their association plan. So they had a great thing, their employees were happy, and then it ended like so many more. I mean, this is something I hear. Greg, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Greg has been so incredible on this subject, and people had plans that worked. And then all of a sudden, they were just totally cut off, and happened to your company also. Rich and Leslie have said that they would love, once again, to use an association health plan. And there are millions of Americans who want more affordable options just like them. And now, with this executive order, Americans will likely soon have those options. We will be very happy to provide them to you, and you will be very happy, Rich. I think you're going to be extremely pleased. If you're not, you can tell them right now. Okay?
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Leslie. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Great to see you. Thank you very much. In addition, my administration will explore how we can expand something called short-term, limited duration insurance. These health insurance policies are not subject to any very expansive and expensive Obamacare coverage mandates and rules. The cost of the Obamacare has been so outrageous, it is absolutely destroying everything in its wake. They were so attractive that just last year, the previous administration crippled the market in an effort to keep people from fleeing the failing Obamacare plans. In fact, they prevented these plans from lasting more than 3 months. They will take action to fix that and to make these affordable, flexible plans much more widely available. So we're going to have a very widely available plan that's going to cost much less. And from the standpoint of the United States government, we will be very happy, won't we, Virginia?
We will.
So they'll get better, and it will cost us nothing. That's not too bad, right? We need some more answers like that. Finally, today's executive order instructs Secretaries Acosta, Mnuchin, and Hargan to explore how they can allow more businesses to use tax-free health reimbursement arrangements, or HRAs, to compensate their employees for their health care expenses. Currently, only about 1/3 of small business employees receive coverage at work, forcing millions of workers to enroll in the exchanges or remain uninsured and to pay the individual mandate penalty. Not good. Not good. That is one of the most unpopular things I've ever seen in government, I can tell you. This order takes first steps to make it easier for businesses to help their workers afford high quality and more flexible health care through reimbursement accounts. With these actions, we are moving toward lower costs and more options in the health care market and taking crucial steps towards saving the American people from the nightmare of Obamacare. Today is only the beginning. In the coming months, we plan to take new measures to provide our people with even more relief and more freedom. And by the way, on another subject, that will include massive tax cuts. We are going to get massive tax cuts, and I believe even Senator Rand Paul, and I know Virginia, Greg, I think you're with us, but the whole country is looking for these massive tax cuts, and we will get them. And we are going to also pressure Congress very strongly to finish the repeal and the replace of Obamacare once and for all. We will have great health care in our country. Thank you all very much. Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody. I'm only signing it because it costs nothing. So this is promoting healthcare, choice and competition all across the United States. This is going to be something that millions and millions of people will be signing up for, and they're going to be very happy. This will be great healthcare. So congratulations to everybody. Thank you, everybody, very much.
President, what did you mean by your Puerto Rico comments this morning?
Great.
Mr. President, are you committed to Puerto Rico for the long term?